In this video, I'm rolling with Mike. Mike is a talented brown belt at the academy. He's probably around a similar weight. I would say he's 10 to 15 years younger than me, so I guessed 37. Now he's telling me a little story about how he went to visit another school and they really went after him because he's a brown belt. And, you definitely want to be able to carry the weight of your belt. So people are always looking to get promoted. But I'd rather be a really good blue belt than a not-so-good purple belt. And that applies for any rank. I'd rather be a great brown belt than a crappy black belt, if that makes sense. There goes Super Mario. He hasn't been on the channel. He had a change in schedule. I've only seen him sparingly, but he was a big star on the channel early on. So everybody's version of going easy, I notice, is different. And people have different intensity levels. So many times somebody may think they're going easy. And in reality, their going easy is still more intense than you may ever be. In the early stages of trying to slow things down, we think we're going easy. So we shift from, sixth gear down to fifth gear. So here he passed my guard. And he's putting a lot of weight on me. I'm not really trying to escape. Usually when you put weight on someone, it's when they're trying to escape, but it's also a pin. But I think, why waste energy, downward pinning energy, if the person's not trying to escape and you could help you to set up a submission? If you spend all your time pinning, it's hard to submit, especially if the opponent has a good defense. Where if you were to let your partner move a little bit, they'll move into a submission. But if they just turtle into a shell, it's going to be hard to peel away a limb if they know what they're doing. So here he's bringing his knee up my back, which is good. But what I would do is, if I were him, I'd sit back on that hip and bring that right leg around. But he sat on the wrong hip. He swung all the way to the other side. I mean, he's on my back. Good for him. But it added a step. So now he has both hooks in, and I'm trying to fend him off. So if you see how I keep bringing my elbow up to my head, that's going to prevent the choke, believe it or not, unless he grabs the collar and rips it around. But even then, it's hard because my arm is blocking him from having a meaningful connection. So here he's trying to trap my arm with his right leg, and I'm fending it off with my right arm. So whenever I feel that leg come up, I make sure he's not able to trap. Here again, I put my hand in that position. It prevents him from coming around and grabbing my collar. If he does grab my collar, my arm will be in the way. I feel, in all honesty, very overpowered physically. He's a generation younger, and I definitely feel the difference. Here I'm looking for the wrist lock. As you can see, I'm starting to put pressure, and he's starting to move away from it because his elbow has nowhere to go. And if that gets bad enough where his elbow actually has nowhere to go, then the wrist lock can be finished. Again, I'm fending him off with my right arm because I don't want him to trap that arm. In gi, if you get somebody's back, you should be able to finish them because there's too many opportunities, too many options. You're sticky, so there's a lot of friction. It's hard to escape. It's harder to escape in gi. You know, if you get in a bad spot, it could go badly the rest of the round. But you can always defend if somebody passes your guard, especially somebody who you feel, might use a lot of smashing pressure to pass or whatever. It's just better to let them pass. So he's pulled me back and forth between both sides a couple of times. But, I know people hate hearing someone give advice, but he needs to create a dilemma. So I know when he's going for something, because he goes all out. All of a sudden he's trying to grab my collar with everything he has. So I know that's what he wants. But if you could just creep into things more slowly, you can surprise your opponent with a dilemma. So I talk about this a lot in my videos, and I'm definitely working on developing more of them, but a dilemma could be going back and forth between submissions. It could be going back and forth between a submission and a sweep. So here he's trying to isolate my arm and come around, and when he did so, my finger got pulled back very severely, in which he apologized. But again, even when you're going for the littlest thing, if you could go just a little slower, when these little accidents happen, they won't have severe repercussions. Because my finger hurt for like a week and a half after that. But it was an interesting roll. Thank you for watching.
No, you're not. Thank you, brother.
He just told me I had a good defense. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you.